What do dreams about ropes mean? When you see ropes as the main focus of your nighttime vision, please understand that your dreams focus on themes involving security, spreading yourself too thin, or receiving guidance from many different places involving different contexts. These are the most common implications of rope dreams, but you need to pay close attention to the specific context of the rope dream you're seeing so you can zero in on a much tighter analysis and interpretation. What follows are contextual variations of the general rope dream. Generally speaking, when you see ropes and it's the main focus of your dreams, it's all about different aspects of your life involving security, entanglement, involvement in many different areas and with many different people, as well as getting guidance or feedback in many different contexts, as well as different sources. But if we were to break that apart based on specific contextual cues, they are as follows. What does it mean to dream of a lifeline rope? What is a lifeline rope? A lifeline rope is a rope that you hang on to if you want to live. That's how important it is. It is intended to be your last resort when it comes to climbing, when it comes to any kind of construction, scaffolding. There is that rope that you just need to hang on to for you to stay alive. Dreaming of this type of rope signifies a need for security and support in challenging situations. You feel that the way you're normally doing things are insecure or they leave you hanging, so you need something more substantial. So maybe you are engaged in a business that you feel is risky, but your subconscious is letting you know that you're so insecure about what you're doing that you probably should get more insurance. At the very least, you should consider getting a partner with the financial resources to bail you out should things go wrong. This is your line of thinking. The situation that may present challenges that take many different forms, but at the end of the day, it's all about finding something or some sort of legal protection that will enable you to get the help that you need to overcome difficulties once they arrive. It's just a question of when. At least that this is how you're thinking. In reality, a lot of this is influenced by your worst case scenario thinking. A lot of the times when we look into the future, we project a lot of insecurities there, and most of the things that we worry about never come to pass. So you might want to consider that reality. What does it mean to dream about being tied up with a rope? In this type of dream, your need for security ends up choking you. It ends up suffocating your creativity and, let's face it, your upward mobility as a human being. You may be making more money, but you're stuck doing what you do and your enjoyment for it goes down over the years. That's the bottom line, because don't think that money is the only source of security. It gives you a starting base, that's for sure, but it's not the end. You have to use it the right way to yield much more substantial forms of security. But when you find yourself where you're trading your freedom, creativity, and imagination for a guaranteed payday, it turns out that this can be one of the most restrictive things that you can do. One of the worst ways to get robbed of freedom is when we ourselves consciously do it because we feel that we have no other choice. You always have a choice. And you may be thinking, well, my other choice pays less. But please understand that freedom, with its depth of consequences and applications, carries a high price tag. It is its own reward. Are you willing to pay that price? This is the kind of question only you can answer. What does it mean to dream of unraveling a rope? Have you ever come across a rope that is so intertwined and so badly knotted that you basically just gave up unraveling the rope just by looking at it? If you see yourself in that kind of dream, what your subconscious is trying to get across is that you have a desire to resolve complexities and tangled issues, if you will, that you've been living with for a long time. This can involve your identity, who you really are, where you come from, your sexuality, what you want to do for a living. It can also involve other people, who they are, where they're leading you, or what their real effect on you is. And this can get quite messy because it's so personal and intimate. But in reality, what you think is complex and even unsolvable is actually quite straightforward if you have the right assumptions and expectations. When Alexander, the conqueror of the Persian Empire, went to a temple, he was presented with the Gordian knot. Apparently, whoever untangles this knot unleashes a tremendous amount of power and can gain a lot of territory, so on and so forth. In other words, a lot was at stake with that knot. And of course, many different people tried to untangle it and they just failed. They took the knot in their hands, they couldn't figure it out, and they all failed. Alexander drew his sword and just cut the knot in half. What I'm trying to get to you, or what this story represents, is that whatever complexities you may be hanging on to in your life that's draining a lot of your mental and emotional energy, it's actually simpler than you think. You just have to assume different things. You have to look at your situation with a fresh set of eyes. Because if you think that there's so many different knots in your life that you simply cannot move past because they're just unsolvable, or to solve them requires a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy, you're just giving yourself excuses to remain stuck. That's the bottom line. That job that you're not happy with is a Gordian knot that is very easy to solve. The same goes with relationships that are not all that fulfilling. The same goes with the person that you see in the mirror. That person is overweight, that person is underweight, it doesn't matter. You have a lot more control over that person's appearance than you give yourself credit for. But here you are, hanging on to one Gordian knot after another and robbing yourself of the power to change your situation. Sure, there are people beyond your control. That's true. But don't neglect the fact that you have a lot of control over your situation. You have a lot of power. Just a quick reminder, if you are enjoying this video, please click the like button and hit subscribe. Please be sure to click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our updates. Thanks a lot. Now back to our dream analysis. What does it mean to dream of a frayed rope? If you see a rope that is untangling strand by strand, it depends on how quickly the rope is fraying. If in your dream you see the rope quickly coming apart, you need to understand that you're feeling vulnerable and you think that you are caught up in an unstable situation that may give way soon enough. You may be in an abusive relationship, you may be entertaining ideas of self-harm, or you may be falling into deeper and deeper addiction. Beware, your subconscious is using this symbol of impending disaster to let you know that you are vulnerable and things are not as stable as you assume them to be. So the key here is to see things for what they are and not go into any kind of denial. Don't assume for a second that you have your drug addiction under control, or it's just a cigarette, or you're just hitting the bottle from time to time. Let go of that. Understand that when people tell you that you have a drinking problem, they have something to base that claim on. They're not just making it up. So listen to people. Now is not the time to get into denial, because the worst thing that can happen is for you to finally listen to what your body and your mind is telling you, as well as what other people have been trying to draw your attention to, because you've hit rock bottom. A lot of alcoholics only realize that they have a problem with alcohol when they wake up with their face in a toilet bowl. You don't want to be that person. So pay close attention when you see a fraying rope. The faster the rope is untangling itself, the sooner you need to take action. What does it mean to dream of a rope bridge? Have you ever crossed a rope bridge? It's a lot of fun, it's exciting, but it's also very dangerous. You're basically laying your life down on the line according to certain factors. You're hoping against hope that the rope is in good enough shape to at least support your weight. You're hoping that the design of the bridge is competent enough to at least allow you to get across. There's a lot of uncertainty here, and this is precisely the main meaning of a rope bridge in dreams. There are certain areas in your life where you feel that there's really not enough assurance. Are you really sure that your partner loves you? Are you sure that people who surround you respect you? Are you sure that you are doing a good enough job not to get fired? Are you sure that you are doing what you need to do to stay in optimal health, or at least to stay healthy? These are questions that only you can answer, because only you can provide yourself that kind of assurance. It doesn't come from somebody else. Because if you don't invest time into your relationships, for example, do you think those relationships will remain healthy on their own? Probably not. Somebody has to make the first move. Somebody has to take time from their busy schedule to maintain and deepen that relationship. The same goes with your health. If you think that you can just coast on your previous diet and you won't gain weight, or your muscles will remain strong, you've got another thing coming. Because anything that you do not invest in eventually starts to go away. It starts to weaken. So the same applies to the rope bridge. You're feeling so insecure as you walk through that bridge because there are certain areas of your life that you have not invested enough time, effort, and energy in. And you know it. You know you are dealing with insecure areas of your life. The good news is you can do something about it. You can, if you want to, turn that rope bridge, symbolically speaking, into a steel bridge. What does it mean to dream of climbing a rope? One of the most exhilarating and fun things you can do on a day-to-day basis is to climb a rope. You learn to master your center of gravity. You also learn to put a lot of pressure on your upper body muscles. And if you keep it up, you become stronger, and you also probably would lose a little bit of weight. It's a win-win situation. When you see yourself climbing a rope in your dreams, the overall subtext is positive, because this indicates that you desire to take action. You are proactive, at least mentally speaking. You know what the better things in life that are worth striving for are. So you know where they are, and you are willing to put in the work. This is good news. The question is, are you willing to commit? Because you have to understand that if you want to achieve success, you can't just lay out a blueprint. Anybody can do that. Anybody can analyze, listen to a lot of people, research from many different sources, and come up with information. But information is only as good as its application. So the missing element, the missing piece, if you will, in this climbing rope dream that you've been having is commitment. Are you willing to commit? Are you willing to start? And a lot of people feel that they can't because they're waiting for one piece of information that will guarantee success. I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you, but that one piece of information doesn't exist. What you really engaged in and what is trapping you is analysis paralysis. If you're really honest with yourself, you're just giving yourself an excuse not to start because you're afraid that you will fail. But let me clear it up for you. every second you don't start and you know that what you're starting really will make a difference in your life and really is the right this direction to go in, is failure in of itself, because you're denying yourself one day of achieving. So get on it and understand that whenever you start, there will be ups and downs, there will be setbacks. But the sooner you start, the sooner you deal with those setbacks. So think of it that way and stop waiting for this one piece of information. You need to climb that rope and commit to it, and you will get to where you need to go. What does it mean to dream of cutting a rope? One of the most dramatic dreams you could have is for you to just take a knife, look at that rope, and cut it. Symbolically speaking, this packs a tremendous amount of psychological weight. Why? Ropes, for the most part, indicate connection to something firm, connection to something we can trust, connection to security. And here you are in your dream vision, taking a knife or any sharp object and cutting that rope. You may be thinking that this is a negative dream. You may be thinking that this is the beginning of the end. No. It's actually one of the most powerful dreams you can have, because 9 times out of 10, that rope represents connections to something that is holding you back. How? You're taking all this powerful willpower that you need, all this powerful mental, emotional resources, and wasting it. That's what you're doing. You're wasting it by obsessing about the past, things that already happened, that you cannot control, that you cannot change. Or, more popularly, you're burning it up in the future, playing worst-case scenarios in your mind and turning things over as to how things can happen, and you get all emotionally worked up. In reality, most of the time that stuff doesn't happen, doesn't come to pass. It's a worst-case scenario precisely because it is the worst case and it's improbable. So when you dream of cutting a rope, this is an act of defiance against how you normally think of things, and this is a good sign. Because now you're saying to the universe, I'm sick of this. I'm cutting the rope. I'm making an affirmative decision to deal with my reality as it exists right now in front of my very eyes, right here, right now. I'm not waiting tomorrow, and I'm not agonizing about the past. I'm dealing with it right now. Is it going to be pretty? Of course not. But it's absolutely necessary. Are you going to walk away with immediate results? Are you kidding me? It usually doesn't work that way. But you need to fight that battle today and deal with it today until you achieve mastery. That's how it's done. Thank you for watching this video. We appreciate your support. If you haven't already done so, please click the like button and hit subscribe. Please be sure to click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our updates. If you have any dreams you'd like us to interpret or analyze, please leave the details in the comments. Make sure that your comment is anonymous. We read every comment. Check back frequently for recent videos, because one of those videos could be about your dreams. To support our mission of helping people all over the world live their best lives by tapping the power of their dreams, please click the share button and share this video on all your social media accounts and all your and even your email. Thank you so much for joining us with this video on ropes and rope dream symbology, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.